a stand for this mic, because I can screw in this mic to a stand, but right now it's just kind of on the desk, just sitting on the desk. And it's kind of annoying. Anyway, we're just gonna dive right into it. We are doing the COVID-19 LST podcast November 16th, 17th, 18th, and I believe 13th. I gotta get that file up real quick. Again, you could go to covid19lst.org. We are officially a nonprofit organization. We've been processing paperwork to become that, and we are finally that, which is exciting. It's super exciting. Let me find this file quick. There we go. Okay. But before we dive in, I'm gonna actually do a multi-track mix down to edit a little bit of the jingle with the "That's All from Will" segment. And I kind of did like a loophole, maybe not a loophole, but I kind of just concocted it a different way. That's the wrong word to use for that. Wow. But I'm just gonna make it easier for myself in the future because I was lazy last time. Now I have to do all this over again. So.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening. That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Oh yeah, I want... Come on. There we go. I want this piece. And then I want the jingle. That's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to do the whole jingle. Oh, that's annoying.
Continue to stay informed with us.
Okay, so we'll just do the beginning of the jingle then.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Okay, so we're going to mobile live dashboard. Yep, let me mobily live chat to 0 people. Just kidding. Sometimes I'm tempted to post this on like my social medias and be like, hey, look at what I'm doing, but then at the same time I'm like, I don't know, I'm not actually like playing any games. Like I'm doing like audio production work. I don't know. Anyway.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Okay, so that's where we're gonna cut it.
Thanks for listening.
So then we'll export this. So this is what it sounds like.
That's all for today. Thanks.
But we have to drag this up a bit. And we gotta drag this down a bit.
That's all for today.
We'll do that a little bit.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
So file, export, multi-track mix, entire session. We're gonna save it as Will, because that just seems shorter, quick to the point. I like it. Okay, we're not gonna put it in final audio. This is where we're gonna put it. Wave, yep. Looks like boom. So now we can delete this. Yeah, we want to close that. We're gonna delete this. And then we can get started. It's in 43 seconds. Okay, that's chill. That's chill. Okay.
The report for November 13th, 2020. Adjusting practice during COVID-19. Adjusting practice during COVID-19. A prospective study. A prospective study of 66 patients who had undergone image-guided corticosteroid injections for pain management
That's like good stuff.
By musculoskeletal imaging specialists at Mass General Hospital in Boston found no significant difference in rates of new COVID-19 cases between patients who received the injections and the general population. In their study, only one of 66 patients who was a 25-year-old male contracted COVID-19 following the injection, suggesting that corticosteroid injections are safe to perform during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Interesting. Okay. If that's really 13, then I will post it. That was so just quick and short and simple. Let me double check. I don't know if 1113 was completed. Okay, yep, I guess so. Sorry, I'm like digging through Descripts. Oh, okay, someone is on. I don't know who's watching. I feel like I say this every time I'm live. So, again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, please feel free to reach out to me. I am all ears. And I feel like I take constructive criticism pretty nicely. I hope so. I would imagine my previous coworkers would say so. Anyway, so feel free to reach out. We're just going to start with the intro. We're going to do Command A, Command C. Go back to that wave. Go up. Start. Command V. Then we're going to go and we're going to edit the click pop noise reduction. And again, even though I edit it from the COVID LST intro wave, it does not change. I don't know what happens when I transfer or when I merge the files together. I cannot figure it out, but this has been my short-term solution thus far. And I think what it comes down to is I would just, in an ideal situation, I would re-record everything, and I would re-record it on this software, and I would save it to the format that I would like. But instead, I'm having to get these files from a different program and then re-upload them, and I think there's some issues with re-uploading, but I digress.
The report for November.
Okay, so now we're gonna go all the way back, and we're gonna put in the wheel wave we just made. Oh, we're not gonna do it like that though. That was a little goofy. Come on. Oh, now I get that circle. Cancel. Here we go. Command A, Command C.
COVID-19 pandemic. That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
And then we're just gonna edit and put the arrow. Command A, Command C, Command V.
COVID.
Oh, what?
Safe to perform during the COVID.
Continue to stay.
Oh my god, what did I do?
During the COVID-19 pandemic. That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Okay, yeah, I thought I put the... whatever.
Thanks for listening.
Continue.
That's all today. Thanks for listening.
Continue to stay informed
Look
with
at that. It blended perfectly in my
Read
opinion.
less, do more.
with COVID-19 LST.org.
Again, you can go to that website. It's a legit website. Not that it wouldn't be or anything. But yeah, then from there you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, on the website. You could see who we're partnered with, everyone who works to help create this amazing podcast. Okay, so we're going to make another multi-track mixdown session. So I stopped rambling. We're just going to call this 9 because I can't remember what number we're on and we don't actually need it. So we're going to take this wave. Then we're going to take choice 1 MP3, which I got off. Let me double check what it is. But I thought this was a pretty cool resource. It is freestockmusic.com. It's mixkit.co/free-stock-music/ so it's MIX Mixkit. It's literally mixkit.co. Anyway, I thought it was a cool resource. They've got some great they're all royalty free, copyright free. So that was really cool. Anyway, the one person is still here. I haven't rambled them away, which is great. Again, feel free to reach out. Okay, so we're gonna bring this down to like negative, like 28 decibels. It's somewhere between 28 and 30 is what I do. I don't have like a set one because I think it also depends on how people have previously recorded, if they've been talking loud, if they haven't been talking loud. But I do raise the audio a little bit by like 1 decibel, 1.5 decibels too, something like that. We don't want a keynote. We're going to press Command Z, undo that. 1.7 decibels, 1.6, perfect. So, and then we're going to kind of... So I don't start background music until they actually start the report because we have other music going on.
The highlights from our newest report. The report for November 13th, 2020. Adjusting practice during COVID.
So I don't think I actually put a jingle in because this is just one. Yeah, so this is so quick and simple. We're gonna put some keynotes. And I'm gonna drag this all the way back. But when it starts saying that's all from Will. Oh my goodness.
19 pandemic. That's all day. Thanks for.
I swear I thought I heard a little sound. Okay.
Contracted COVID-19 following the injection, suggesting that corticosteroid injections are safe to perform during the COVID-19 pandemic. That's all for today.
So this is when we're going to stop the music. And we're just going to do some keynotes again. And I'm telling you, anyone can do this. Anyone can work with Adobe Audition. There's great resources on YouTube of people showing you like the basics. Again, if anyone would comment, question, I could answer some questions. I would love to. Whatever you want to learn.
Welcome.
The report for November 13th, 2020. Adjusting practice during COVID-19. A prospective study of 66 patients. In their study, only one of 66 patients who that corticosteroid injections are safe to perform during the COVID-19 pandemic. That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Continue to stay informed with us
Read less, do more.
with COVID-19 LST.org.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to go to File, Export, multi-track mixdown, entire session. We're not going to call it mixdown wave. We're going to call it 11_13 final. And we're going to save it in, oh my god, I have someone calling me real quick. All right. Well, the one person bared with me through that phone call that's still on this live, so thank you. Appreciate that. What was I doing? Yes, we were exporting. So, Final Cut. Oh my god, I'm gonna like lose it. Oh my god. Okay. All right. We're hopefully no more phone calls. Okay, so now we're exporting that multi-track mix down. It's still okay, so did it save? Yep, okay, so it saved as 11_3 final wave. Perfect. Now we're gonna just go on to 11:16.
The report for November 16th, 2020.
Climate. Climate. The International COVID-19 Parental Attitude Study, or COVIPAS group, conducted a cross-sectional study of 1,541 caregivers from 6 countries and found 65% of caregivers were willing to vaccinate their children against COVID-19 whenever a vaccine became available. And that 52% of those refusing vaccination reported that the newness of the vaccine was a deciding factor.
They're gonna microchip us. No, I'm playing. Your phone already tracks you if that's what you're worried about.
Deciding factor. Authors suggest that these findings demonstrate the need for effective public health education efforts
Referendum 90, let's go Washington.
Regarding the safety, efficacy, and utility of any available COVID-19 vaccine.
Okay, so I need the jingle. Dun 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 dun. Yeah.
Epidemiology.
A retrospective study. Let's just see.
Massive dissemination of SARS-CoV-2 spike Y839 variant in Portugal was found.
I don't know what that means.
Bioinformatic and surveillance specialists from Portugal reviewed geotemporal spread of SARS-CoV-2 spike 839Y variant introduced from Italy to Portugal in February 2020 using 1,516 SARS-CoV-2 genome sequences collected as part of national surveillance. They found relative frequency increased at a rate of 12.1% every 3 days, and the spike 839Y variant was associated with 24.8% of confirmed cases by the end of April. This variant has since been detected in 12 other countries, so authors suggest ongoing surveillance of SARS-CoV-2 genetic diversity and epidemiological monitoring of potentially significant variants.
I wonder if it's like in our country. I don't know. Kind of wild. And not in a good way.
Two hospitalized COVID-19 patients from an entire hospital conducted emergency medicine specialists found no association between having lupus anticoagulant, of which 95 of their 192 and mortality mechanical patient. However, worse outcomes were seen in patients with obesity, low oxygen saturation, and high troponin level.
Look at that poppin' pee. The poppin' pee, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it is. Okay. And it's not the reader or the recorder's fault by any means. It's just an equipment thing. Okay. Let's see. We're going to put a pop eliminator on it and see what it does.
High troponin level.
It still kind of did it.
And high troponin level. And high troponin duration and high troponin level. Authors suggest lupus anticoagulant is not a strong prognostic marker in COVID-19 patients.
Yeah, I could have told you that. Duh.
And it may be a side effect of, rather than a cause for, thromboembolism.
No, I'm playing. Like, I'm not a doctor.
Management.
Embolism.
Management.
Oh my gosh.
Management. What are the SARS-CoV-2 risks in a first trimester pregnancy?
Oh, I don't know. That's a great question.
A cohort study conducted at the Copenhagen University Hospital.
Copenhagen. Oh, I don't want to sound dumb if I say it's the wrong country, but I think that's right.
Associated with SARS-CoV-2 infection in first trimester pregnancies by analyzing double tests, which are blood samples for pregnancy-associated plasma protein and free beta-HCG. Results indicated 1.8% of the 1,019 pregnant women tested positive for SARS-CoV-2 antibodies in their serum. However, there was not a significant correlation with nuchal translucency or increased risk of pregnancy loss between the women testing positive versus those testing negative for SARS-CoV-2 antibodies. While these results may be limited by sample size, population type, and severity of COVID-19 infection, this study demonstrates that there is not an increased risk of pregnancy complications in pregnant persons with low severity COVID-19 infections during the first trimester of the pregnancy.
Cool, I think. Okay, so we're gonna go to Will, Command A. Oh wait, we didn't need to Command A, but we just did. Command V. Check your rings.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Check your rings. Yeah, I guess I should check my rings. My Apple Watch rings. Okay, then we're gonna go to the outro. Command C. And I guess I wasn't really discussing what I was doing necessarily while I was editing the podcast. Maybe I'll do that in the next one. But I was checking for a lot of like breaths or imperfections, just minor stuff.
Listening.
Continue to stay informed.
Okay, so now we're gonna do the intro. And again with the intro, as I said previously, I'm unable to successfully complete this on the file itself. Don't know if it says it's been transferred, uploaded incorrectly, not incorrectly, but just not compatibly. That's not a word. Anyway, so what we just go is we do noise reduction restoration, click pop eliminator process. It's on custom right now. That works for me. So we're gonna do apply. And then,
Welcome back to the Daily Report.
Kind of just brings it down a little bit because there's a lot of clicking. And you can't really hear that clicking in the original, like right here, the COVID LST intro, the original file. But it's when I transfer it that there's this clicking, this like mouth clicking, and it's very faint, but it's bothersome. Okay, so now we're gonna go to a multi-track mix section. Multi-track mix down session, if I could pronunciate my words properly. So we're gonna go to new multi-track session 10, whatever, that sounds good to me. I'm gonna move the file, and then we're gonna do the choice one audio. Again, we're gonna bring it all the way down to in between -28 and 30 decibels. And we're going to bring this up especially because one of the readers was speaking softly, and that's okay. It's just we're going to have to even it out.
November 16th, the report.
And we're just going to knock the keynotes out right now. Excuse me.
The report for November 16th, 2020.
Wow, you can hear that popping P in the report. The report.
The report for November.
Oh my god, it's gonna bug me. The report. The report.
Vaccinate their children. Welcome back to the
report. Report.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. You know, maybe I should look this up if this is like an issue that continues to occur. But I'm not entirely sure. Oh my god. Okay. I want to say the reason for it is because equipment. It's just an equipment issue. Like if I go like report, port, you could just, the P is just, it's so, it causes so much I don't want to use the term incorrectly, but it's like reverb, it's like feedback, it's like, it's the popping P's. That's just what it's called.
The report for November 16th, 2020.
Climate. The International COVID-19 Parental Attitude Study. And that 50. Climate. The International COVID-19 Parental Attitude Study, or COVIPAS group, conducted a cross-sectional study of 1,541 caregivers from 6 countries and found
Okay, keyframe. I'm using the term incorrectly. I had a feeling, but I didn't know. Okay,
16th, 2020.
Climate. The International COVID-19 Parental Attitude Study, COVIPAS group, conducted a cross-sectional study of 1,541 caregivers from 6 countries and found that 65% of caregivers were willing to vaccinate their children against COVID-19 whenever a vaccine became available, and that 52% of those refusing vaccination reported that the newness of the vaccine was a deciding factor. Authors suggest that these findings demonstrate the need for effective public health education efforts regarding the safety, efficacy, and utility of any available COVID-19 vaccine.
Epidemiology. Massive dissemination of SARS-CoV-2 spike Y839 variant in Portugal was found. Bioinformatic and surveillance specialists from Portugal reviewed geotemporal spread of SARS-CoV-2 spike 839Y variant introduced from into Portugal in February 2020 using 1,560 a retrospective study of thromboembolism.
Management. What are the SARS-CoV-2 risks? Severity of COVID.
That's all.
I kind of want to do this one at 4, just because I think it's a little bit louder.
What are the SARS-CoV-2 risks in the first trimester pregnancy? A cohort study conducted at the Copenhagen University Hospital examined the low-severity COVID-19 infections during the first trimester of the pregnancy.
Okay, so...
translucency or increased risk of pregnancy loss between the women testing positive versus those testing negative for SARS-CoV-2 antibodies. While these results may be limited by sample size, population type, and severity of COVID-19 infection, this study demonstrated.
That's all for today.
COVID-19 infections during the first trimester of the pregnancy.
That's all for today.
Persons with low severity COVID-19 infections during the first trimester of the pregnancy.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Continue to stay.
All right. The one person is still hanging in with us. You know, I'm kind of like skeptical now. I'm thinking maybe Twitch like just shows that there's one person watching this, and really there's not. It's like a bot or something, like, or maybe someone is and that person is a bot. I don't know, but or maybe I just have a stalker. I don't know. That was a bit extreme. I don't know. Okay, so we're going to go to export multi-track mixdown, entire session. We're going to name it 11_16. 16, not 6. Final cut, wave, same source, 32-bit, 4400 hertz. Cool. Fuego. Do. All right. On to 11:17, which is the longest one. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so for this one, I'm hopeful that I will try to exactly show what I'm doing or say exactly what I'm doing. Yeah.
The report for November 7th.
Port. We have those popping P's again. Report. This time it just shows more down here than up here. More on the back end of like report.
A report.
Anyway.
For November 17th, 2020.
Epidemiology.
So So we have a lot of mouth noise right here, like that. I'm just gonna delete that.
Epidemiology. Persistent.
We kind of have a little bit of mouth noise here too. We're just gonna silence it.
Epidemiology.
And we kind of have a little bit of mouth noise, like as she's saying epidemiology. Like it's like either you have dry mouth, or you just finished eating, or maybe you ate peanut butter. I don't know, but you can. It's like epidemiology, but like
Epidemiology.
anyway.
Persistent fatigue following SARS-CoV-2 infection is common and independent of severity of initial infection, according to a study done by immunologists and infectious disease specialists at St. James Hospital in Dublin, Ireland.
So yeah, we're gonna have to raise this one up a bit in the multi-track session. It's a little quiet. So that was kind of like a breath / something.
Ireland. They examined the prevalence of post-COVID-19 fatigue.
This is definitely a breath. And the reason why, and you could, as you hear me take a breath, the reason why I'm deleting breaths is this kind of concept of if you're listening to a podcast, I'm going to use, now I can't think of the name. No, now I'm going to use Radio Labs, or what is another good one that I try to listen to? I like podcasts, I like creating podcasts, but I just sometimes don't have the attention span to sit through and to listen to like an hour-long podcast. I think it's The Big Picture that my boyfriend really likes. Oh, Dissect is really good, and you never really hear the guy on Dissect take like this deep breath. What is the one I'm thinking of? It's produced in New York. Oh my god, this is gonna kill me. Freakonomics. Yes, I'm almost positive Freakonomics Radio is produced in New York. I think they're really good. The last one I listened to was actually on a plane coming back from Hawaii. And it was like, I don't know where it went. It probably got deleted because I listened to it and then it like undeletes from Spotify. Oh, does anyone really know what socialism is? I listened to that on the way there. That was really good. And why are cities still so expensive? I don't know why I'm plugging these podcasts as I'm editing this one, but my point is to this is that when I listen to Freakonomics, Radio Labs, yada yada yada, I don't hear these big breaths as I hit the microphone. These big breaths, and that's okay. People need to breathe, right? But they have like pop protectors, windbreakers. They have very expensive equipment that kind of allows them to not do these deep breaths. I'm sure they have someone edit it. And really, you can hear those breaths when they interview someone, like either on the phone or in person. That's really where you can hear the change from studio audio to a different form of audio, like reporting audio, outdoor audio, whatever. So that's why this is a really long explanation of why we delete breaths.
And 128 patients who had recovered from the disease. Using their fatigue score, or CFQ-11. They found that 52.3% of participants met the criteria for fatigue at a median of 10 weeks following initial symptoms, and that fatigue was associated with the female gender and pre-existing depression or anxiety. But data showed no association between the CFQ-11 score and age, disease course, or laboratory measures of inflammation.
That's good, I think.
These results.
Oh, this is still the same.
These results.
So this is actually what we're going to do instead. We're going to start from deleting from here.
Inflammation. These results suggest that post-COVID-19 fatigue may be more prevalent than previously understood.
That's kind of scary.
And authors advocate for further research among those with previous SARS-CoV-2 infections.
I think that would be crucial. That would be incredibly important. Okay, so jingle, copy. I have a feeling we're going to use it. This is probably nothing.
An outbreak of COVID-19 on an aircraft carrier spreads fast, says public health experts affiliated with the U.S. Navy.
Yo, that sucks.
They conducted an epidemiologic investigation of the COVID-19 outbreak on the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Their results show that of the 26.6% of the crew members, or 1,271 members of the crew, who tested positive for SARS-CoV-2 via RT-PCR, nearly half were asymptomatic. More than 30% of symptomatic cases initially reported having cough and headache, and among 1,331 suspected or confirmed cases, 23 were hospitalized, 4 received intensive care, and 1 died.
How many were the cases? Like thousands?
1,300 cough and headache, and among 1,331 suspected or confirmed cases, 23 were hospitalized, 4 received intensive care, and 1 died. The author suggests that the confined and densely populated areas, as well as relatively high number of asymptomatic cases, may have contributed to the fast spread of COVID-19 on the aircraft carrier.
Wow, that's tough.
Ultrasound image.
Wow, okay, it just keeps going.
Ultrasound imaging findings of acute testicular infection in patients with COVID-19 were explored by a team from the Department of Ultrasound Imaging at the Wuhan University Renmin Hospital.
Whoa.
It was a retrospective study of 142 male patients hospitalized with COVID-19 who underwent a bedside scrotal ultrasound.
Wow.
They found 22.5% of patients presented with findings of acute testicular inflammation.
Ouch.
10 with acute bronchitis.
I don't know what that is.
7 with acute epididymis.
I don't know what that is either.
And 15 with epididymoarchitis.
Yeah, definitely don't know what that one is.
There was a higher
So it's almost like a cough or a swallow right there. Like Anyway.
There was a higher frequency of testicular infection findings in men greater than 80 years old.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And in the severe COVID-19 group. Authors suggest that SARS-CoV-2 may infect the testicles and or the epididymis.
Wow. It's just out here.
And recommend clinicians be aware of these GU.
Transmission and United Kingdom's definition of vitamin D sufficiency and recommended supplement dose are set too low.
Oh.
UK physicians in infectious disease, endocrinology, respiratory, and gerontology concluded the original threshold goal for vitamin D sufficiency.
Only read in like the next 2 years, don't quote me on years, that people, according to this longitudinal latitude, according to this latitude space on the globe, this does not sound educated at all, oh my god, not have sufficient vitamin D as of like 2023 or something like that, and Washington happened to be in there. And no, Washington, if you're from Washington, you know, if you're from the west side, you already know that we don't get a whole lot of vitamin D because it's just dreary, rainy, you know, from October to like freaking May. So I already take a multivitamin. Not that that is gonna like save me or anything, but vitamin D is like associated with like, you know, depression, immunity, a bunch of stuff. Again, I'm not a doctor though.
D at 25 nanomole per liter is too low and not evidence-based, suggesting that it should be instead be set at 50 nanomole per liter and
yeah, duh. Just kidding.
And recommend supplementation with 800 IU per day.
I agree. No, I don't know.
They speculate vitamin D deficiency.
Okay, so the one person is still on. No common questions or concerns were sent in. That's okay. But I think this solidifies my idea that this is probably a bot. And continuously, as I recorded and I said, hey, there's one person on, wow, I'm watching myself like glitch out on the screen. Anyway, as I continue to say, hey, there's one person on, do this, blah, 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 I'm now thinking that this is a bot. This is like a bot.
Deficiency is a risk factor for COVID-19 and
because I think it's supposed to tell you who's joined, right? Like, and it does not tell me that.
And advocate for an increase in the recommended vitamin D supplement dose.
And in silver linings,
Supplement dose.
and in silver linings today,
I like silver linings. Always positive.
what was the impact of non-COVID-19 deaths after social distancing in Norway?
Man, Norway should really talk to Sweden.
American public health experts analyzed the effect of social distancing between between effect of social distancing between the days, the effect of social distancing between the of social distancing between the.
Okay, so what I just did there was, it was clear that something got jumbled up while reading the script, and that's okay, but we just took those two words together because it seemed like social distancing wasn't completed. Like saying it, you didn't, like the person didn't complete saying the word, and that's okay. So we just kind of combined both of them, and then when the person says between, they kind of say it as if they're starting a new sentence, but we're not starting a new sentence, so then I had to lower the audio down. And as you can see, it's still a little bit higher, but if we lower it all the way down, then we're not going to hear the between part, so.
Effect of social distancing between the day March 16th.
It does still sound a little goofy, but we're rolling with it. There's like... between, I guess Copy. We could try this.
Between the distancing between of social distancing between the days March.
Okay, so then we just put a little bit of space in between the two words. I think it sounds a little bit better. But you could play with this. What? 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 Okay, I don't know what happened. We weren't even a multi-track mixdown session, so I don't know why I was like so scared.
Between the days March 16th and social distancing between the days March 16th and May 18, 2020, using the Human Mortality Database's short-term mortality fluctuations data series. They compared non-COVID-19 deaths in Norway during the 9-week period to expected deaths based on the historical Norwegian data and non-COVID-19 deaths in Sweden. But
yeah, Sweden's doing it all wrong.
By using the Box-Jenkins time series method. These authors These authors found 430 fewer non-COVID-19 related deaths in Norway than expected, and suggest that social distancing carries mortality benefits beyond COVID-19 prevention, and recommend an in-depth analysis of such measures on health indicators when considering risks and benefits of public health policies.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Continue.
I broke my nail. Oh my god, so bad. Sorry. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna go to File, New, Multi-Track Session. You know the drill. Choice 1 MP3. Wow, I have to stop playing with this now. Oh my god, it's gonna drive me nuts. Yikes. It just freaking broke. Oh my god. Alright, so we're gonna lower the choice 1 audio to -28 to -30 decibels. Then we're gonna raise this one up by like 1 to 2. It's in like an hour. Oh my god, I have to stop playing with this now. This is just killing me. Okay, I want to read you guys this headline. Because why not? Before I start editing this. The Atlantic. Research shows that closing schools as a response to COVID-19 doesn't actually help. Experts argue. Instead, it does meaningfully harm to families across the country. So, it does meaningful harm to families across the country. I feel like I kind of butchered that title a little bit. but I hope you got the point across. I don't know. Like, I need to read the article after this, of course, because the headline does not justify what the article talks about. Or does not portray accurately all the information. Anywho. I just thought that was interesting. That's all. Moving on.
It's from our newest report.
Keyframes. Okay, so we're going to do keyframes. I don't even know where I got Keynote from. Like Keynote speakers. I don't know. But it's not Keynote. I'll tell you that.
The report for November 17th, 2020.
Epidemiology. Persistent fatigue following SARS-CoV-2 infection is common. But data showed no association between the infections. An outbreak of COVID-19 on an ultrasound imaging findings of acute testicular
It's maybe 4 decibels again.
Epidemiology. Persistent fatigue following SARS-CoV-2 infection is common and independent of severity of initial infection, according to a study done by immunologists and infectious disease specialists at St. James Hospital in Dublin, Ireland.
Speaking of Dublin, Ireland, there's this show I watched, and I don't know why it's not coming to the Normal People, I think is what it's called, Normal People. I'm gonna Google that right now. Yes, Normal People is a really good TV show on Hulu. It's based off a book. I've only read half the book, but it's a really good book. It's a really good show. Hopefully they come out with a second season, but if you haven't seen it and you have Hulu, you should watch Normal People. It's a good show. Anyhow.
An outbreak of COVID-19 and wondered. The authors
So we're gonna take the choice one audio again, and then we're just gonna blend it together right here. And so what these two lines represent is that it's fading out and fading in. So this audio file, the previous audio file, is fading out while the new audio file is fading in. And that's exactly what we want. They just do it in a nice manner.
Factor for COVID-19
in Norway during the 9-week period to expected deaths.
Transmission and prevention. United Kingdom's definitions of vitamin D technology, respiratory, and
based on the historical Norwegian data and non-COVID-19 deaths in Sweden. Specialist at St. James Hospital in Dublin.
Endocrinology, respiratory,
And in Silver Linings today, what was the impact of non-COVID?
I think we're just gonna raise this one just a little bit.
With COVID-19 public health policies.
That's all.
So now we need to go all the way over here.
That's
on health indicators when considering risks and benefits of public health policies.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Continue to stay informed with us
Read less, do more.
with COVID-19 LST.org.
Okay. So I did play with the audio levels, the decibel levels a little bit. I'm gonna publish it and see what they think. I think I like how the levels sound. I think they're in good places where it's needed.
November 17, 2020.
Epidemiology. Persistent fatigue following SARS-CoV-2 infection is common and independent of severity of
Okay. File. Export, multi-track mixdown, entire session. We're going to call this one, you guessed it, 11_17 final. We're putting in the final cut, yada, 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 export. It's taking its time. And then one more. And then we're going to upload these to anchor.fm. Anchor's a really cool service. I didn't know about Anchor. I started with this name. But yeah, it's super cool. And then you can also find it at the COVID-19 LST website, covid19lst.org. So yeah, you can see all the reports, podcasts, and social media. Anyway, let's get into the final editing. You know what I was going to say.
The report for November 18th, 2020.
epidemiology. Pediatric cardiologist from the Association for European Pediatric and Congenital Cardiology's COVID-19 Rapid Response Team evaluated 286 children with symptoms of multisystem inflammatory syndrome in children. They found that 65% had laboratory evidence of current or past They found that 65% had laboratory evidence of current or past COVID-19 infections. 93% had cardiac involvement, and all had elevated inflammatory markers, suggesting that pediatric patients with multisystem inflammatory syndrome in children should be monitored for cardiovascular complications and rising biomarkers. Biomarkers.
Understanding the pathology. A retrospective cohort study by cardiac pathologists from the Mayo Clinic of post-mortem reviews of 15 patients with COVID-19, 6 patients with influenza, and 6 patients with no viral pathology found that patients with COVID-19 were significantly more likely to have fibrin microthrombi. They found that 12 out of 12, or 100% of the COVID-19 patients, had fibrin microthrombi versus 2 out of 6, or 33% of influenza and control patients, in that these were found in higher proportions in arterioles. One third of the COVID-19 patients also had evidence of myocarditis, and 26% had evidence of amyloidosis. Physiology researchers use mechanism-based reasoning to propose an explanation as to why COVID-19 can have varying clinical symptoms using 3 possible mechanisms.
Popping peas.
1. The P38/MAPK pathway. 2. The JAK-STAT pathway. And 3. The PGE2 EP receptor signaling pathway. From each of these pathways, the authors suggest that the varying symptoms could be attributed to the level of prostaglandin E2, or PGE2, released, which causes a cytokine storm, and they further theorize that the amount of PGE2 could also be directly correlated to disease severity.
Now, I don't know what any of that was, but I did hear the word prostate, and I know what that is.
Investigators from Berlin compared their retrospective plasma disruption to the lung epithelium between 19 patients with severe COVID-19 that required intubation, 14 patients with moderate COVID-19 requiring hospitalization but not intubation, and 15 healthy controls. They found that the addition of plasma from COVID-19 patients to healthy endothelial monolayers correlated with significant endothelial gap formation and loss of junctional VE cahedron. Additionally, when compared to the healthy control plasma, the plasma from COVID-19 patients not only resulted in increased severity of endothelial permeability, but also rapid within 1 to 2 hours and long-lasting over 6-hour effects, suggesting that the endothelial barrier stabilizing adjunctive therapies administered to patients exhibiting signs of moderate to severe COVID-19 may delay progression to acute respiratory distress syndrome.
Management.
Management. Neurosurgeons at the Laboratory of Experimental Neurosurgery and Cell Therapy in Milan, Italy,
Milan sounds nice.
compared blood samples from 47 healthy patients to samples from 111 SARS-CoV-2 positive patients. They found sphingosine-1 phosphate and apolipoprotein M levels were significantly decreased in COVID-19 patients when they were compared to their healthy patients. COVID-19 patients requiring intensive care unit admission had significantly lower levels of apolipoprotein M, sphingosine 1-phosphate, albumin, and HDL compared to those not requiring ICU care, suggesting that the SARS-CoV-2-induced cytokine storm and acute phase response lowers levels of these specific biomarkers, and low levels of apolipoprotein M and sphingosine 1-phosphate less than 0.6 micromoles may be clinical predictors of severe disease and decreased survival.
All right.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening. That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Continue to stay informed with us.
Do more. So file, new multi-track session 12, I guess. Sounds good. You know the drill. Okay, so the bot is still currently on. I'm very surprised. But it's been an hour 17. So, wow. Again, we're going from anywhere between negative 28 decibels and negative 30 decibels.
20.
Epidemiology.
Okay, yeah, this is too big of a gap. Razor tool.
September 18th. To the report. The report for November 18th, 2020.
Epidemiology. Cardio. Biologist from the Association for European complications and rising biomarkers.
Understand.
And rising biomarkers.
Understanding the pathology. A retrospective cohort study by cardiac pathologists.
You know, this soundbed kind of reminds me of Minecraft music. That would be so cool. I mean, obviously it's copyrighted, but if we did the Minecraft soundbed and it's just like, dude, like the opening screen, you guys know what I'm talking about. I think that would be so cute.
86% had evidence of amyloidosis. Physiology.
Do, do, do. Ah. I knew it. I freaking knew it. I freaking knew that I fricked up like that. Razor tool.
Amyloidosis. Physiology. Had evidence of amyloidosis. Physiology researchers use mechanism-based reasoning to propose an explanation as to why COVID-19 can have variants, and 26% had evidence of amyloidosis. Physiology researchers use mechanism-based reasoning to propose an explanation as to why COVID-19 can have variants. Of plasma from COVID-19 patients to healthy endothelial monolayers correlated with significant endothelial gap formation and loss.
Neurosurgeons at the Laboratory of Experimental Neuroscience. Increase survival. And HDL compared to those not required, predictors of severe disease and decreased survival.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
May be clinical predictors of severe disease and decreased survival.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening.
Continue to stay informed with us.
Read less, do more.
With COVID-19, LST.org.
Awesome. Okay, so file, export, multi-track mixdown, entire session. Alright, so we are done today with editing 11:13, 11:16, 11:17, and 11:18. All of these will be uploaded to Anchor FM and then distributed to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, our website. I think there's one other platform. Either way, if you'd like to listen to this, you can go to COVID-19 LST.org and follow for more. Okay, thank you.